They took Fear Factor, locked it in a house, and said, good luck. From panic attacks to gross challenges, I'm recapping every wild moment. This is Kinda Unhinged. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Fear Factor House of Fear video, and we are on season 1 episode 6. So we begin this episode with the first look light coming on, and everyone's confused. They're like, do we all go in there? And they all go in there, and they saw the words pain auction, somebody screaming, and then they saw a pie with a bunch of bugs on it. So now they're on high alert. They're like, are we about to get tortured? But before they can even start to theorize, the fear bus pulls up, and it literally looks like a jail bus. And that's what Zach says it reminds him of. He's like, yeah, the last time I was on this type of bus, I was going to the big house. And of course, everyone ignores him because they're still irritated with him and what he did in the last episode. So when they arrive at their destination, they go inside and they realize that they are at the pain auction. And this is like no auction you've ever seen before. So in this auction, they are bidding on how much pain they can tolerate. And the person with the highest bid gets the chance to prove themselves. And if they can prove that they can tolerate that amount of pain, then they will get a fear coin. And this fear coin gives them a chance to sabotage another player in the end game. So the first thing that they auction off is electricity. What's the max voltage you can hold for 10 seconds? And Ethan is the winner. And he has to hold on to 100 volts for 10 seconds. And if you don't know anything about voltage, 100 volts is a lot. It can literally power a microwave. So he has to hold on to 100 volts for 10 seconds. And Johnny is slowly increasing the voltage. So he starts at like 10 volts and he goes higher. And at first, you can tell that it's like a little bit uncomfortable for Ethan, but it's not too bad. But once it gets to about 70 volts, Ethan starts screaming. And I mean high-pitched screaming. And it is really hard to watch somebody in that much pain. But when he gets to 100 volts, he's able to hold on for the 10 seconds. And when it's finally time to let go, he can't even take the fear coin. Johnny has to put it in his pocket. So the next thing that they auction off is hot wax being poured on your body parts. And Blake is the lucky winner of this punishment. And he has to get 5 ladles of hot melted wax poured on his body. So they start with both of his arms, both of his legs, and then on his chest. And for me, that would have been the absolute worst. But Blake takes it like a champ and gets his fear token with no problem. And the next thing that's auctioned up is how many spicy peppers you can eat. And Chelsea won this one, and she had to eat 5 habanero peppers. And she starts off her first 2 or 3 with no problem. When she gets to the 4th one, you can see her eyes start to water, and it seems like it's a little harder for her to get down than the other 3 were, but she powers through it, gets the 4th and 5th one down. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's gonna be okay. But no, then she starts to get sick and the EMS had to come. And I felt so terrible for her because she looked like she was in so much pain. She was literally laying on the ground. So the next thing that's auctioned off is licking a bug zapper. And Lance is the lucky winner of this, and he has to lick a bug zapper 12 times. And he does this with absolutely no problem. And Rob completes his with no problem either. He had to stick his head in ice cold water for 10 minutes, and he made it look easy. But then, of course, Zach had to be a hater and say, oh, Lance and Rob's looked so easy. If it was so easy, then why didn't you bid higher? So the next thing that's auctioned off is needles in your arm. And Dito won this challenge, and he had to take 13 needles in his arm. And these needles were huge. These weren't like little tiny needles. These were huge needles. And this was another challenge that was really hard to watch. After 5 needles, Dita is literally screaming and crying in agony. I don't think that I could have even taken 1 needle to the arm, so I don't know how he was able to do this, but he did it and he got his fear coin. So now we were down to the last thing, and there was only one more fear coin left, and Jaylene, Danielle, and Zach are the only 3 players who don't have a fear coin. And this challenge was how many times you can get bit by a snake. And Danielle won, and she had to be bit by a snake 5 times. So she literally stuck her hand in this container that had the snakes in it and agitated them, and they bit her. And this one also looked really painful, but she was able to get through it and secure the last fear coin. And then Johnny let them know that they would all be playing in the end game. So the end game was a pie eating competition. And these weren't just regular pies. These were like, of course, really gross pies. They're like rat tail pie, fish eggs, scorpions, just terrible things. And the last person to finish eating all of their pie would be eliminated from the game. But the 7 players who won fear coins, which was everyone except for Jaylene and Zach, were able to sabotage another player by giving them another piece of pie. And this particular pie was evil pie, and it consisted of pig snouts and congealed blood. And because Jaylene and Zach did not get a fear coin, they were punished out the gate by being given 2 slices of pie. So Johnny asked Dita, does he want to use his fear coin and serve somebody a slice of evil pie? And he says he does, and he wants to serve it to Lance because he heard Lance was trying to offer him up for the last end game, and Lance is upset by this. So when it's his turn to decide if he's going to serve somebody evil pie, he says that he is. And of course, we're expecting him to serve it right back to Dita, but he doesn't. He serves it to Jaylene. And he says that he's doing that to get back at Dita because she's a part of them. And I don't know how he feels like she's a part of them because she's really not. And of course, this makes Rob mad. So when it's his turn, he serves his evil pie to Lance. Ethan serves his to Blake because he's still mad about what he did to Tyler. And Blake serves his to Dita because he wants to get back at Ethan. And Danielle also serves it to Dita because she feels like this is her only opportunity to get him out. So when it's Chelsea's turn to decide if she's going to serve evil pie, she says that she's not because everyone is already targeting each other and she doesn't want to make anything worse. And now it's time for the competition to begin, and they start eating, and this is the grossest thing that I've ever watched in my life. And the noises that they're making was just disgusting. I believe it's Zach making a lot of those noises, and I could not, he would have did it for me because I cannot stand hearing those type of sounds. That would be worse than smelling it and eating it. So yeah, this was hard to watch. But Danielle is the first person to finish eating all of her pie, followed by Robin. Eventually, we get down to 4 players left. We have Lance, Zach, Jaylene, and Dita. And these 4 are all struggling so bad. But Dita and Jaylene are able to power through. And Jaylene is vegan, so this is extremely hard for her. So we end this episode on a cliffhanger with Lance and Zach being the last 2 in the competition. So we'll find out which one of them is eliminated in the next episode. You guys let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you want more Fear Factor content, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.